Welcome, Lockdown Workshop. Welcome back. What have we got today? No, not that. We finished messing with that. Though you'll notice the power crank is back on it now, because I was on the internet and I found a genuine giant power meter that was supposed to be on this bike. So this is the one that you charge up. So it doesn't use button cells. Way better. Absolutely spot on. It's 1 watt out when I compare it to a Kicker, which is probably about the same as that was, and that is significantly more expensive, but obviously a lot older. It was miles out. It's about 100 watts out when I first got it, and I thought I'd been sold a duffer. That's why it was going cheap, because I only paid about 200 quid for it off Fleabay. I've been knocking at somebody else that was selling one for 420 and trying to get him down to 320, which is what the used ones are going at, and somebody sold a brand new one taken off a bike, claimed never used, for 350, which I missed out on, and I should have had that one. But got that one, paid 200 for it. It's got all the charge cables, everything. Plugged it in, it was reading about 100 watts high at 120 watts, so about 100% out. Checked everything, reset it a couple of times, reset the Garmin, tried calibration, nothing worked. It was still reading massively out. Flashed the firmware, reset everything, deleted it off the Garmin, put it back on again, boom, perfect, 1 watt out. Took it out for a ride the other day, absolutely spot on, getting about the watt readings I would expect. And it's a true dual-sided power meter, so there is a power meter on each crank, as opposed to this one that calculates, because it's not on the pedal arms, it's on the gears itself. It can actually detect power on both legs, so it works out whether it's a positive or minus force. It's getting work out your pedal balance that way, which is quite clever, but that's an older style of power meter, but still brilliant. But it's on that bike now. We've put that one back on there. That crank works better on that bike. This one was having a few issues, but that's still not trimmed up right. I've got to go into the app and trim it right. So we'll see how we go with that one. But no, spot on. That bike's good. This bike's probably staying now. It's going to be a winter bike, but not with those wheels on. I'm probably going to use that for the relays. The bike is slightly lighter than the Propel, so for short course TT, that's probably a better bike with those wheels on. It's slightly lighter. But in the winter, I shall be using the Campags, the Zondas, very low profile wheels, so you don't get affected by the wind, and they are out the factory tubeless. Anyway, right, back to what we're doing today. We're doing a bit of a musty today, so let's check you're looking at it. It is a Mountfield. It's got a Briggs & Scrapham engine on it, horsepower 470. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. I'd have to check that. We're used to them saying things like 3.7, so I suspect that might be a 4.7 horsepower. Reliable. We shall see. I know absolutely nothing about this. It was donated to the workshop by a friend. I don't know whether it came with the house he was moving into, or it was in the house he was moving out of, and he didn't need it in the new house because he didn't need it. Whatever the reason is, it's here. I don't think it's run in a while. It hasn't got a pull start. The top's hanging off, which might make life a bit easier for us. I don't even know if it's got any oil in it. Don't know whether it runs, but what I do know is that these wheels look quite heavily worn, so it's obviously done a lot of miles. I don't even know if it's got a blade on it. So let's get it up on the bench, which is slightly cleaner than it was last time, and let's just tear into it, see if we can get it running. If nothing else, then I'll decide what I'm doing with it, whether we keep it as a bit of a project to do up, or whether we just sell it as a runner for parts. Somebody might want the engine, and I've got to keep buying. I know I do everything for free and I don't charge people, but I have an overhead of oils and heating and lights and wear and tear on my tools, so I've got to cover them somewhere. So some of this stuff that gets donated to the workshop might get sold on, just to cover the overheads of me not charging people. But anyway, because that's what they normally charge for in the hour. It's not just the bloke's rate, it's the cost of wear and tear on his tools and consumables. Anyway, waffle over. Let's get this up on the ramp. Went up. Right, let's have a look at it, see what we've got. I've taken the box off it. Now, the first thing I notice is that the it won't go down. I don't know if it's supposed to go down. Probably not actually. That's just a deflector, isn't it? I think that doesn't look like it's going to go down. I don't know what that's supposed to do. There's a strange looking flap here. I don't know whether that's for a bigger bag or something like that. What that's for. Don't know. I'm not an expert on these Mountfields. Yeah, there's a flap at the back underneath there that we can get out. I don't know what that's gonna do for us. There's a little rubber grommet there. Now I think that's for when some of them, particularly the American specification, because they have dusty lawns, so it doesn't kick all the dust up. You can have a hose pipe on there as well, and it keeps the dust down. Kind of waters the grass while you're going, I guess. There is a lot of shit around the back of there. Let's just pick you up and you can have a look. So you can see there's a lot of shit around there. Again, like most of these it's a 4-stroke engine, but it's air cooled, so you've got to make sure that it gets plenty of air circulation, or they will overheat and blow a gasket. I guess the first thing we ought to do is see if there's any oil in it. See what state it's in. It has some oil in it, and it's quite clear. Doesn't smell very fuely. Actually, that looks quite... No, I don't think there's any oil in that. Let's try that again. That might be on there just because I've tipped it up. There's no oil in that at all. That is completely devoid of oil. So I think one of the first things we're going to have to do is chuck some oil in it. Let's get this off the way, because it hasn't got a pull start, so I can't even test for spark or anything. What we can do, though, is we can... for some reason, that's covered in oil. What we can do is we can get that out, and I'll just have a look at the state of the spark plug, see if it's rusty or anything. I suspect it's going to be the big boy. They usually are on these. Yeah. So, look at me being all musty one. Oh man, that's disgusting. Gap might be a bit too big as well. It's probably the original spark plug. It's a Champion RJ19LM. I think that's the original one. Only because I've got a load of them over here somewhere. I thought I had a load of them over here somewhere. I don't know where they've gone. We've probably chucked them in a box somewhere. Might be in that box there. There's a whole load of stuff on here somewhere for lawnmowers, but I've yet to find it. I found one of the piles over there, but I can't get to it. Let's get the... Oh, there we go. So it's got these are the ones that have got independent wheels, and that one's completely seized up. So I was going to try and put them at the same height and get it lifted up a bit, but I can do that back one. Right, so they're up. We haven't had a look see if it's got a blade in yet, either, have we? It's got a blade. It looks pretty bad under there, but I'm not seeing any signs that it's rusted through. I think it was stored in the garden. So I think one of the things we're going to have to do before we get too far into it is take it outside and give it a good blast out with the pressure washer somewhere, because I haven't got a feed around here. Yeah, that's ripped out of there. Let's get this cover off. So we might chuck some oil in it, because I don't really want to start pulling it over my hand, even if it's... Alright, that's helpful. Torques, not what I was expecting. Like I said, I've not worked on a Mountfield before. Mountfields in the UK, I don't know what they're like in the States, but Mountfields in the UK are generally seen as the better quality ones. They're not like your Champions and your Aldi specials and things like that. They're generally seen as better quality. Even if I can't find a... So here's a Torx bit. There we go. State the inside of that. So it's missing 2 screws at the front there, and I don't know where the other one goes in actually. It's a bit weird. Definitely one goes in there, but there's, according to this, there should be another one going in over there, but that looks like that's been heavily mullered, that. So I'm not sure whether it was supposed to have some screws in the front, or yeah, there's only 1 screw, there's not a screw there, so there's 1 screw there, 1 screw there, that one's under a thing, but it does look like somebody's cut that out to get to that screw, but I don't know, something not quite right there. I would have definitely have said the 1 screw. I'm not sure, but it's not enough to hold it on. So there must have been another screw or something else, some other mechanism for holding it on. But that one's definitely been got at. But there's no sign that there was ever a screw under that one, and there's no hole for the screw under there, because I think it'd end up in the gap. The exhaust pipe looks fairly oily. I suspect it's been burning oil. There's some remnants of what used to be the pull start in there. Yeah, I have a bad feeling about this one. So I don't cut myself. Let's just welly that down again. We'll knock it back from the other side as well. My body beat thingy hammer. Right, let's try and get this top off so that we can try and put a new pull start on. I would have thought that this would have, it would have been possible to get this off. That's riveted on there, so I would think that this has got there's got to be some clips in here somewhere for getting this off. Aha. Another clip there. That's it. That's 3 clips. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Somebody actually just used string on that. Let's try and do it instead of pull cord. Oh, that's an array. That looks like string. It's like somebody's used a bundle of multiple threads of string and thought that would work. It looks like kite string. Definitely not pull cord. Yeah, it's definitely, I think that's what they've tried to do, and it's just ended up all fouled. Now the trouble is I can't get it out without drilling these out. I'm pretty sure that they're not screws, they are rivets. I can't see. Well, the motor itself does turn. Don't know if it drives. I think we might get the top off that. Let's get my shitty screwdrivers out. Now then, question is it American or English? That feels like a 10, but it's a bit sloppy. That's not come off there. That's off the motorhome, the bed. I think these are the ones you have to pull the dipstick out as well. That looks like an 8, or a 6, or a 7, possibly a 7. Probably comes out with that. I'll go to 7. Nope. Not first time, it's a 6. Nope, that's not a 6. That's a 5. That's a 6. No. So 6 doesn't fit. I think we are imperial here. Yeah, there we go. We're definitely American fittings. I was right with the other one the other day. It wasn't American as well, because them Tecumsehs are big in the States. There you go. It's the filler tube. Now, I suspect there's one more around the other side. So we use braille. See, that handle's going to get on me now. Customer headline, call first. I think we're a bit beyond that. It's customer, well, there we go. So it might be that we can take that out that way anyway. Well, apart from that, it looks all right. Yeah, I really don't know what somebody's done with this, but well, I don't know what you can see here. I'll try and get it all out. Yeah, that's definitely. Hold on a second. No, that might be in the original. I can see a bit of orange down there. Let me get a pokey, because it wouldn't be a homage to Musty without a pokey tool on it, would it? My pokey tool skills are well inferior to Musty's. He's an expert picker and poker. Right, that's not having it. That might do it. Stay still. I'll hold it still so you can see it, but it's just not having it. I really don't want to stab myself in the finger as well, because you know it's going to happen. It's coming. Right, I think it comes that way. But I think this is all fouled up anyway. So it might be that we've got to get this out. Yeah, I don't know what's going off here. That. Oh, I don't. We've got another. I think we've got another way to go yet. We've got to go all the way round at least once more. Yep. Yeah, the coating. So it's straight strands. It's not woven strands, but then with a sheath around the outside of it. And I think it's gone around a few times. Oh, we've got more of it in there than I thought. It's all. We might. Let's fix the starter cable. So we're through now. I'm not sure we are, to be honest. There might still be another. Let's go poking now, see if we can get it out now. Yeah, there we go. There is pretty much all the sleeving in here. It's just bunched up. There you go. I think we'll put some new in. So I should be able to. So which way does that go when we pull it? We pull it that way, so it's pulling that way. So we need to wind it all the way. No, we need to wind it all the way back in. Keep winding it round several times this way round. Yeah, so we'll get a couple of whirls round, jam it, and then we'll feed it. We'll feed it in. Hopefully the spring hasn't broken. I can see the spring there, and that should probably be not there. Yeah. So we have to keep spinning it. There's a nice helpful thing on there that you can, I suspect, put something in a hole somewhere and jam that. And we'll put a cable on it and hope for the best. Yeah, the spring's now dropped into the place where it's supposed to go. So what I'll do is I'll send that across there, and that's where it needs to feed from. I think what you do is you feed it from the inside there and out. So all I need to do is just jam that now. So I think what I've seen Krusty do is put a set of mole grips on there. My mole grips are there. They are. So. What I'm going to try and do is just pincer that there. Right, so that's stopped that now. I'm just going to park that there because I've got to go back in the house to get the. I have got some. Oh dearie me, that doesn't sound good, does it? Let's give you some WD-40 down the spark plug hole. That does sound very crusty, but if it's got no, see, it could be running on this as well. It looks like this. It's possibly scraping on there. I'm trying to work out which way it runs. So it must suck down there. I think it turns this way. No, I don't think it does. I think it goes this way. Yeah, it goes that way. And that would throw the air out and over the shroud. I don't know whether it's scraping on that or whether it's just the fact that it's got no oil. I think we probably need to put some oil in it. That's not sounding too great. Chuck some oil in it. What have you got? Some good stuff. 1040, 1540. Oh, some check there. We definitely don't want chainsaw oil. Let's use up some of this. So it goes straight through the bottom because the drain plug's been taken out. I'm just filling up the workbench at the moment. No idea how much these take. What do I do with the dipstick? Might be a tad over full now. Oops. I'll have to suck some of that back out. Got a bit carried away. Let's just let it percolate for a while. Sweet. We ought to better work out which way it goes from looking at this, to be honest. So that's on there. That's pulling it. I was right, it is that way. Clockwise. Well, it's turning, which is like 90% of the battle. Have we got any compression? I'm feeling it push, I'm not feeling it pull. Oh, there we go, there's a little bit of a suck, not much. Yeah. I'm just going to shift this out of the way because I've got a sneaky suspicion that this is causing some of my problems. So we'll just find out and just move it out of the way. Oh. Right, that's the governor. So the way that works is the faster the air rushes out of there, it pushes on the governor rod that goes inside the engine. So some of them have a centrifugal weight system. When the weights come out, it pushes a centre pin up that pushes on the side of a bar that comes out here and does the same thing. This one uses the thing. Genuine Briggs and Scrapham. I've pulled that out of the way and it still sounds like a bag of old spanners. So we will just reset that if I can find a business card somewhere. Maybe I've got to start you up. Right, just pull that out of the way, drop a piece of card about the thickness of a business card in there, and then just screw it on. And then remove your things and it should be okay. We've still got too much oil in there. We've still got loads more. Way too much oil in there. I think we might need to suck some of that out. Let me find a sucker. I had one of these the other. Where did we put them? Right, I've got just the thing for this. I can find a piece of pipe I'm not too bothered about. Must have a piece of pipe somewhere. A shitty piece of pipe. There's one in the bleed kit. We'll use that one. Doesn't really like the probably not the cleverest thing to do, but most of this oil is just going to be used in a I could be here a while. I need a better. I think we need a better bit of pipe than that. No, can't use that one. Got anything over here? Over here. Oh, what's that? Not sure this is going to be any good or any better. It's a bit crusty. The trouble is oh, that's a bit better. That's one thing, because we're going in at the bottom now, I'll know if there's any water in the bottom. Right, that looks particularly horrible, so we're going to we'll deposit that in the used oil can. It's around here somewhere. Yep. How's this looking now? Still looking way too full. Goes to some more of this scrunchy oil at the bottom. Oi, what are you doing, chicken? Out you go. No, out. Out. Right, I think we're going enough oil out of that now. I'm not doing that again. I think we're still miles over. Still quite a lot over. We will have to get it out, or it'll end up blowing past the pistons. It does seem to be moving a little bit better now. You've got to remember as well, it's actually turning the blade underneath, so it could quite easily be the blade underneath that's got issues. Don't really want to stick the. Well, we could do. I don't think my. Look at that. No, not having it. No. I think I need a drill for that rather than an impact driver. It is definitely getting easier to move though. It's definitely running a bit more. You can hear it though, it's properly. But I can't tell if that's the. It sounds like it's coming from under there. I don't even know if we've got spark, judging by the amount of oil in there. I think what we'll do is just give that a quick clean out with some car cleaner. I've got some. What's electrical cleaner? That might do it. Right. So bring you back in a minute. Pull cords and a new centre nut as well. There's any suspicion that's pull cord as well, but Pretty sure it is, but we bought that and it ended up getting used to something else. I think it's the hang thing from the ceiling with it, but I'm pretty sure we're out of the actual pull cord things themselves. I didn't buy these specifically for this. I bought these for another project where I think the pull cord's starting to go on it. So I thought if we're going to have some, we might as well get a few in stock. It is supposed to be 10 metres in here, but the shall we say the Amagon literature was a little bit misleading. I've actually got oil all over my skizzers now, so my nice clean hands I've just cleaned up and now covered in crap already. And we'll chuck this on the windowsill with the pile of all the other bits and bobs. Of course, we don't know how long we need this either. We'd like to keep it. So we'll go a bit longer than that because it's got to go all the way up to the other end. Need to do some Bernie. Way down to the other end. It's already Bernied. Right, I think this might be a little bit more pointy this end. Right, where's that pull corder? Right, I will try and do this so you can see what I'm doing. We'll try it this way, and if this doesn't work, we'll go the other way. I think I possibly need to move it round a bit. It's not quite in line with the hole. I'll lose my fingers in a minute, I know I am. Alright, so it's in line with the hole now. I might have a fighting chance at getting it through. Nope. Let's send it through from the other end then. We might have more luck on this side. I wonder if I could see what I was doing there. Let's try the other end, see if the other end's any better. I don't think it's going to be honest. I don't seem to be able to get it through the first bit, let alone into the I don't think I was right first time. I'll have to make it a bit more pointy with the heat gun. Don't even know if I'm hitting the hole. Fiddly. Oh, we got a low battery warning, because that's just what we need. Nope. So I'll make it a bit more pointed. Oh, we're through. Yay! Right, let's stick this back on now. Are we still with us? Yeah, just. We're going to swap your battery over in a minute. Just going to put this on, then we can see if we've got spark. And then what I'll do is I'll get some more of that oil out. A whole load of things there. I've no idea where they belong to. I think that might have been rubbing on the... Right, let's have a look at that. No, it still sounds like a bag of spanners. Right. Still with us, still hanging in there. Nearly. Right. There's part of the sheathing round here that I've got to finagle up into its final resting place. I think it's got bent out of shape. I can't get to it. Yeah. So part of the shroud that keeps the that's supposed to keep it in wasn't quite where it was supposed to be. Yeah, I think that's better now. Yes. Still not entirely sure it's where it should be, but better than it was. Right, let's get you a new battery. I'm going to clean off the spark plug. I think we discussed this last time. It's a good way to clear crap off the spark plug. You can see that's fairly, that's a lot cleaner now. One thing we haven't done is test it for spark yet, so try and finagle it back on. No, they doesn't want to know. What a surprise. Let's go get the spark plug tester. Where's the spark plug tester gone? I had it the other day, it can't have disappeared. Who knows? If anybody saw when I put the spark plug tester in the last video, please speak up, let me know. But it's in there. One down there. Shift these out of the way. Nope, not in there either. Who knows? Nope, I've not chucked it in there either. That would have been my guess. Oh well, I have to go do it the old school way. If this has cooled down enough for me to. Oh, that's warm. Right. Trouble is, I'll not be able to see this. Don't think I will anyway. Let's go around here. Let's move the shopping cart out of the way. That's still not spinning enough to be able to start it. Now, we need to get that moving. That ain't going nowhere. That is definitely a non-moving entity. That's irritating. Leaking oil as well. Who knows? Yeah, still got too much oil in. I can't spin this, so we're going to have to take this off and get this turning. It's not. I mean, it could be the blade underneath. Shift this out of the way. Dirty looking thing. That's supposed to go through there, I think. Yeah, not that way round though. It's supposed to be something like that. And obviously, we give it something like that, and it doesn't want to move. What's that? Right, so let's add a bit more. Can you see if it's sparking? It started to free up a little bit, but it's still not brilliant. But obviously I can't see if it's sparking down there. I don't know if you'll be able to see if it's sparking down there either. You can't get close enough. Could just put my finger on it and see if I squeal. I think if I jam it up there, I'm going to see it. I might. I think what we're going to do is just squirt a bit of brake fluid in there, see if we can get it to fire off. Carb spray will do it. I'd love to know where that spark plug tester is, because I might have a chance of seeing it. Right. Now then, I just need to be careful that we're not in the cut-off zone. So I think you have to jam this somewhere when you start it, otherwise it'll kill the spark. Because there's definitely a pin there, and if it touches that, it's going to kill the spark. So I think we're going to have to put something around there. So use one of my trusty Velcro strappages. I'm glad I spotted that, because I've probably been pulling away on that for the last half an hour trying to see if there was a spark, and I wanted them. So I'll show you what I mean in a minute about. So that's not going to work. I need a smaller one. A smaller one in here. That's a smaller one. These are things I use for bleeding brakes or holding the wheels against the frames on bikes. I think this is the smallest one. I think that's far enough. It's not looking like it's going to tell it to bug off. These don't look factory. That one possibly does. That one definitely doesn't. Guess there was spark. You know, shits and giggles. Should we do that again? That was just cow cleaner. Sounds all right, actually. So there's three things that, well, there's an argument there's four. Everybody will tell you it's three. You need gas, you need compression, and you need air. Sorry, you need gas, you need spark, you need air, but actually you need compression as well, because without compression you're not going to get very far at all. So you need four things. Right, I'd say that's a winner. Right, I'm just going to have a look at the carb and see where we are with that. Oops, there goes the fan. And if we might have to take that off and get it cleaned up. I don't know where the fuel tank is on this. Is that it there? That's it there. So it's quite a small fuel tank. So you can fuel this. Right, so that's the next attack. We're going after that. Right, so this is one of those fuel tanks that brings it up. So there is a pump in there and there's a primer. So that does sound like it's fairly empty as well. So we'll. It doesn't have a throttle, weirdly. I think it's just on there. There's no idle. As soon as you take your hand off that, it cuts it and you've got to restart it again. And it's a fixed throttle, so it just everything runs off the governor. Now, what I've noticed is this does look a little bit bent. So I'm not entirely sure how, or whether that's the choke or what. So we'll have to have a look at that. Let's get that off. That looks suitably shit. It might clean up. You're also supposed to soak these, but they generally the paraffin degrades them after a while, or the oil, depending on what you put on them. So this might need a new filter. It's come out anyway. We'll give that a blast out with something to clean it. Yeah, this isn't. I'm not entirely sure what's going off there. That it all does look bent and mangled. That. So that looks like that should be up there. That looks like it's bent out of shape as well. So that's the governor on the throttle, and I'm guessing that this is. I don't know really. It doesn't have a choke because you prime it. That's the crankcase gases there. So that's what comes out the crankcase, gets fed back into there. But it's this bit here, it's the governor I'm a bit worried about. It's whether or not that governor's actually working. See, I think you might use this to adjust the speed, but it's definitely, and that's not looking too clever, that. Well, that definitely looks like it might want bending up. So that's better. So I don't know if that's the choke or what. Can't see it doing anything. It's just not actually touching anything. It does seem to adjust the spring tension, but I don't think the spring belongs on that. I think we're missing a bar, because there's definitely two holes in there, and that's definitely bent down. So That's definitely bent as well. I'm not entirely sure how that's supposed to run. I might have to get on a parts diagram for that one. So normally you prime this squirts, it dumps a load of fuel down there, and that's the same as having your choke. It starts it up, and I'm assuming that that's your fast and idle, and what that must do is just change the spring. But I think the spring's supposed to go possibly in one of these down here and not in that bit there, and that would make sense because when you move it to there, it changes the angle on that, and then would alter the. There's the moment that's not doing anything, so I think that needs to be in one of those two holes there, or even in that hole there, and then you bend it round, it puts a lot more. That would make sense if it went round there into that would put more tension on it. I think I'd need to do a bit of investigation for this particular model. Got oil all over the front of it. I don't know if that was me or not. Ouch. It was spiky. We never did find out what was wrong with this one. That's completely is it that it's not actually coming out? Oh, there we go. It is moving. It just didn't want to come out of the thing. I suspect something's bent there as well. Okay, we'll just drop that one down then. Let's just see if the carburetor works. Blast out. Stick some fuel in it. Right, bear with me because this is always fraught with danger. So I flick myself in the eye usually. Right. It says 2 prime, push 3 times. Two, 3. Right, definitely got 3 good squirts then. Sounds all right. Carburetor seems to be running okay. It's probably a little bit lower than it should be. I fair bit of oil coming out of it, but I suspect that's because I've overfilled it a bit. We'll get it warm and then we'll drain the oil out of it. I think I'm just going to disappear on the old that carb cleaner I squirted on. It's not done the paintwork any good. I think I'm just going to have do a bit of research on the Tinterweb, see if I can find out how this is supposed to look, because I still don't think that's right. I think that should be in there somewhere, or in there, which would make sense, because then you can turn it up and down. Right. I wasn't able to find much information on this. I've tried it there and I've tried it there. It does appear to be too much, so I'm actually wondering whether that was the right place for it now. So I'm just going to stick that back in there. It is burning so much oil because it's been overfilled. So I am going to get the oil out of it now, give it a quick oil change, and then we'll do a bit more digging and research about this. The downside is it's an absolute pig to get this out of it, in and out of here. There we go. I might become proficient at this at some point. There's got to be a quicker way of doing it. That's for certain. Right. Come on, drop in. Says I don't want to. Right. The thing that just throws me is it just seems so slack, but I guess that's when it's pulling, and that doesn't pull at all, and it can go to full throttle and then that pulls it. It just doesn't seem to put enough on it at all, really. So I'm still not convinced that's the right place for it. Who knows? Right, let's get this off. We need something to chop that up on because the drain bolt is under there. And if I tip it on its side, it's all just going to run out, which is an option. I just pull that out and just tip it over into a pan, which might be the better option. I'm trying to get the bottom out of it. Right. So where are we going to do this? Whether or not this is going to work, who knows? I've never tried this before. I've always emptied through the thing. You can get a thing for emptying them out of there. I get a feeling this isn't going to go in. Nope, that's not going. this one. Yeah, I think I've used this one for oil before. Right, let's try this a different way. There we go. Leaking oil out of the fuel out of the top as well now. Don't think I'd filled it that full. No! For fuck's sake, out! Dog invasion, but I've got the other door open and chickens are roaming. There is rather a lot of oil in there. I need to get this cleaned out now. I'm not liking the look of that. Looks worse than the one I pulled the other day. There's all sorts pouring out of it. So I think before I put any more oil in it, I think I'm going to give it a quick blast off with the pressure washer. Go find a hose pipe though, because I don't have a hose pipe for this to bring me around. I'll just blow it off with air gun. Right, I think that's about as much oil as we're going to get out of this. It's had a little mess on my table. There's oil and fuel and all sorts of gubbins coming out of it. I think it does need a blast off with the pressure washer. I was trying to avoid doing it. Sneak that back in. Where's the diddly one? Oh, can you see it? As usual, stuck to the bottom of the I think what we'll do is we'll leave this as a will it run, and then what we might do is give it a quick test to see what works, what doesn't work, and then I'll run it on the garden without the shield on. Then we'll do another video. We might tart it up a bit. It's missing a cover off that wheel there. One of these wheels won't go up and down properly. It's absolutely full of shit. That's fairly rusty, but you don't see that. It's hidden underneath anyway. I don't know what the basket's like. It's not a self-propelled. At least I don't think it is. It's a sorry, it's not a machine propelled. It's a human propelled. And I really don't know what the state of this is like underneath. I don't want to tip it over because it's just going to waz fuel out again all over the place. I think if I tip it back, it might be able to get a better look at it. The blade looks fairly mangled as well. I haven't done the blade test on it to see if it's bent. I mean, shouldn't do that with the spark plug in. Like it is dead. It's killed, but alright. So that one is cutting about ½ an inch low. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a wobble to it. But I don't know whether that's the blade or could be the blade. that's bent rather than the actual shaft. It doesn't look like it's bent. The blade's pretty mullered. I can never work out which way these some of these blades go a slightly different way. Yeah, that's spinning the right way. Yeah, I'm supposed to cut on the outside edge. So that's okay, and then that's a razor. Flips the grass up. Right. Yeah, there's definitely something went on with that. That leads to that flap that's on the outside. It also leads to the water filler. It's pretty grim under there as well. It's not completely mullered. It's not rusted through. But it might take some cleaning. Right, we'll give it a blast off, and then I might give it a quick whirl around the garden just to see what it ends up like. I'm gonna regret doing this. Hold your ears. Don't have a fillet this time. Got to tell because the oil's still running down the dipstick tube. Get a better cloth for doing this. Nope. This is the thing. Old Krusty knows all the volumes that they're supposed to take. I don't. I worked on these Mountfields for ages. This is what the majority of the mowers in the States are. They're push-alongs like this. See, I'm back in again. I'm hitting all the stuff as it's running down the tube. Oh, we're starting to get one early there. Little bit more. Not much, little bit more. I think that's okay. It's going to smoke like anything. Right, have we got some better things than that? Probably not. Right. I think we're going to leave that as it is. Where's the cover? We'll stick the cover back on it just for shits and giggles. Give it the Yorkshire respray. Right, so I started it up. I thought you were recording, but you weren't. It's running really slowly. It's not getting up to speed. I think the idle's too low because I've discovered we're missing a spring off the idle. So what I'm going to do is just try and actually just increase the tension on that tab somehow, or the tab the other side that it pulls on, to see if we can do something with that. It could also be that the air filter is so badly blocked that it's restricting the air. So I'm just going to take the air filter off as well and just run it and see if that makes a difference. Because it is smoking like anything. So I'll just give that a quick whiz. Should be another spring that goes from there to that one there, and I think this one is too slack, and that spring should be taking this up a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and bend this down a bit and see if that's going to make any difference, because this was all bent out of shape. Because of the fact that we've not got the air filter on yet. I'll put the air filter back on, it's fine. It is burning a lot of shit. But I think that's because we dropped a lot of oil into the thing. That's still not running as fast as it should do. Be interested to see what or how much of a difference does make a difference. Still see it's pushing a bit of oil out there. It has cleaned up, it's not blowing out anywhere near as much smoke now, so it was just the oil from when we tipped it up. It needs a good pressure washer off. It runs fine. You saw the massive difference it made as soon as you put the air filter back on it and it stopped surging. So, and I suspect it'll run a bit better when I get the clean air filter on. The low idle's not working properly and it's not cutting off properly, I don't think, as well, partly because that spring's missing. So now I've adjusted the fast idle position on that, wherever it's gone. That one. It does actually run at a slow idle now. So there's a lot of oil coming out of the exhaust pipe, so that's going to be burning off for a while. It's actually quite a decent mower. I haven't had a look to see if I can replace that front wheel yet. We've still got something to look at with the adjusters on the front, that they don't adjust properly. I think they're a bit seized up. The ones on the back work fine. I've had to drop it down quite low. This was actually cut yesterday with a rotary mower. So you can see there's quite a lot of bits that the rotary mower's missed, because you roll over it. Not rotary, cylinder mower. This is a rotary mower. The cylinder mower, you roll over it. It's got a roll at the front. It just pushes the long grass down, and then the cylinder doesn't pick it up. So this lawn could actually do with a couple of passes of one of these anyway, and we haven't got one of these. We do now. So actually it's gone together quite well. That screw's still bouncing out, so I need to have a look at that and stick another one in there. But other than that, it's actually running very well, and we have got the basket for it too. So it does need a pressure washer and a good clean up. It's had its oil change. It seems to be running all right. We'll see how it goes when I put the other one in, and we'll just bend some of those tabs around. We probably could turn it up a bit higher. I did hit the tree root over there, but I'm not too concerned because the blade's bent anyway on this, so I might have a spare blade for this that came with some of the other lawnmowers we got from donated from Kate and Chris. So there was a blade in there that looked like it might be compatible with a Mountfield, so we might stick that in. It's a very small chassis one. It's probably a bit too small for this garden, but it's probably going to be good around the other side. So the engine looks okay anyway. It's not showing any signs of any wear. The oil was pretty shit and it did have a lot of sparklers in, but it runs anyway. So spider's nest. It's had a hard life. You can see it's not been it's not just been sat there. The wheels are quite well worn, but it seems to be running quite smooth actually. So that's quite good. I just think I'll go and run over some more of them bits of twitch before we pack in for the evening. I think this is staying now.